What's going on, boxing fans? This is Super Kid Frosty, and this is going to be my Koki Kameda Hugo Ruiz fight prediction. It's for the WBA bantamweight title. I think it's a pretty interesting fight. Both guys are ranked in the top 10 on ring ratings. Kameda's ranked number 5, and Ruiz is ranked number 7. I think this will be a pretty interesting fight overall. If you've never heard of Koki Kameda, or the Kameda family in general, they're a pretty interesting family in Japan. They're kind of known as the bad boys family in Japan. Has a lot of controversy between all three of them, but Koki, he's a pretty outspoken guy, pretty arrogant in standards of Japanese culture. He's very outspoken against his opponents, and then Daiki Kameda is the second brother, and Tomoki is the younger brother, and Daiki is probably even worse than Koki is. If you've never seen this fight with Daisuke Naito, check it out on YouTube. It's pretty crazy stuff. At the end of the fight, he threw Daisuke Naito on the floor. He lifted him up and threw him on the floor. Tackled him several times in the ring. Doing WWE, type wrestling moves or whatever. Just crazy stuff. His father was banned from the Japanese Boxing Commission for telling Daiki to headbutt Daisuke Naito in that fight, low blowing him and all that stuff. And also Daiki, before the fight, said he was going to commit seppuku, which is Japanese ritualistic suicide, if he didn't win that fight. So he's just been some ridiculous statements, which really have made the Japanese community kind of angry at them. Especially the Japanese Boxing Commission. I think it was Fighting Harada, who is the main guy over there on the commission, said they're a disgrace to Japanese boxing. But Koki's kind of the Mayweather of the Japanese boxing community. People buy his fights, I think, to see him lose. I think he does have a small following of really close-knit followers, and I think most of the people want to see him win, but I think there is a greater community that kind of wants to see the guy lose. But let's get into Koki's boxing history a little bit. He's won his last 6 fights after losing his first fight to the Thai legend Won Jong Kam, which I believe was a very close fight. He's got a 58% KO ratio, so he's got decent power, especially with the left hand. He is a southpaw. He's had some decent wins over his career. I don't think the caliber of people have been that great that he's fought, but I think it's a big step that he's taken with Hugo Ruiz, which is good. But he has beaten Alexander Munoz. He beat up David De La Mora not too long ago. He's beaten Daisuke Naito, who his brother lost to. So he's fought some pretty good opposition. And he's a tough fighter. He's a very aggressive fighter. I call him kind of a stalker. He keeps a very high guard. Got high guard up, blocks a lot of the punches with that, but he kind of walks in, stalks in, sets up the left hook, or sets up the left hand quite a bit, straight left. He's got a good overhand right. Doesn't set the jab too much, but he's much more of an aggressive guy. For Hugo Ruiz, I don't know a whole lot about the guy. Just caught a couple of his fights not too long ago on YouTube. He's got a huge KO percentage rating, 87%, so he's very powerful, especially in the right hand. The right uppercut, he knocked Francisco Arce out in their second fight with a huge right uppercut. So even the straight right's pretty powerful. He does have a suspect chin for me. I've seen, obviously his first loss he got knocked out in, which was early in his career. So you can't really take that with a whole lot of grain of salt, but he's been hit with by Francisco Arce, got knocked down by Francisco Arce in their first fight. So I don't know. I think that he's got a little suspect chin there, but he's much more of an outboxer. He uses the jab quite a bit. He's quite a bit slower than Kameda, but he's got a huge height and reach advantage than Kameda. He's 5'9" for a bantamweight, which is huge. 69-inch wingspan, which is pretty sizable for a bantamweight. So I mean, he's not as fast, but he's very, very tall, and he's got a very lengthy jab, which I think he'll shoot out quite a bit. He's got a good right hand, like I said. He tends to move quite a bit in the ring, and from what I know, Japanese boxing rings are quite sizable, so that should be used to his advantage. I don't know if it will be, but from what I've seen watching Japanese fights, they're quite sizable rings. So I'll go into a little bit of what I think both fighters need to do to win this fight. I think Koki Kameda needs to kind of do what he's always done. He needs to stalk down Hugo Ruiz, make sure that he's not moving to the right, make sure it kind of stay on that outside lead foot of Ruiz, because he is a southpaw, and then shoot the straight left hand for openings, especially to the body. I think he needs to do a lot of body work, and I think he needs to slow down Ruiz with straight left hands. Also, that slow, methodical Ruiz jab. That jab, it's much more of a pawing jab for Ruiz. It's not that quick, so he needs to kind of, shoot, block that jab, come over with a right hand or a right hand to the body, come over with the overhand right, and then shoot the left hand. He needs to set up combos, cut off the ring, and I think he needs to be much more aggressive in this fight than his last couple fights. I think he's relied too much on the fact that he fights in his hometown advantage. He's just got to be aware that this is much more of a step up from the former opposition that he's fought. So, other than that, I think that he just needs to kind of slow down Ruiz a bit, smother some of those punches that he's shooting, get him in a corner, work the body, and score points. Biggest thing for him is just to score points. He could look for the knockout. I don't know how easy it will be for him, but score as many points as you can with clean, effective punching, and then get out of the way from any of those shooting jabs from Ruiz, and watch out for that right uppercut. He needs to watch out, move his head a little bit more, move the feet a little bit more. Can't be complacent in the middle of the ring. That's what I think Kameda needs to do. For Ruiz, also needs to be aggressive and be aware of his environment and situation in Japan. I'm not saying Japan's known for giving false fights, but they are very aware of their own fighters, that's for sure. So Ruiz needs to shoot that jab quite a bit, and hopefully he's got a little bit more pop on it, and look for that right uppercut. I think Kameda is open for the uppercuts. He keeps his hands quite high right here, and he's great at blocking incoming hooks. So be aware that he's kind of open for this chin right here, and then shoot the right uppercut. Obviously, it worked for Arce, and it could work for Koki Kameda. But he needs a high output, I think, and a lot of scoring jabs, straight right hands, uppercuts, and like I said, needs to move a lot. Can't let Kameda cut off the ring. Stay on that outside foot of Kameda. Make sure he's not stepping on it, and keep moving, jabbing, and then try to look for a knockout. I think that he could do it. He's got strong hands, but it can't be, he can't pot shot the whole night either. He needs to set up some combinations. He can't just look for one punch. I don't think the judges will take too kindly to that. But that's what I believe they should do. Both should do. for my prediction, I'm gonna go with Kameda on a split decision, a very close decision. I could also see it going a unanimous decision, but it also wouldn't surprise me if Ruiz knocked him out. Who knows? But I do think it'll be a close fight. I think that Kameda will come out on top if he does those things that I said. I just think he's a bit quicker than Ruiz. I don't know the oppositions that Ruiz has faced in the past. I know Arce was a pretty decent fighter, but not to the level that Kameda's at. I think the hometown advantage will help Kameda quite a bit. And you know, I just think that overall, if Kameda does what I kind of put forth and be a little bit more aggressive and cut off the ring, I think he can smother Ruiz quite a bit and stop a lot of those long range, the jab and the straight right hand. But we'll see. I think this is kind of more of a throw-up fight. I don't know a whole lot about both guys. I've watched Kameda more than I have Ruiz, but I think this will be a very interesting fight. I think it'll be a close fight, and I'm glad that two guys in the top 10 are fighting each other and can move up a little bit. So we'll see how it goes. That's going to be my prediction there. Coming up, I'll probably cover Ji-Hoon Kim Beltran fight before Thursday. Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. Obviously, I'll do a prediction for the Marquez Pacquiao fight. But that's it for now. Thanks for listening. Leave me any comments if you want to, and thanks.